We have a public comment system here where you fill out a speaker card so I can recognize you if you want to address the board on any issue. And I do have one public comment card. If anybody else wants them, they're over there by the door, just pass them up. This one is for Jeff Belle, our trustee from Area 5, Contra Costa Board of Education.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, trustees, chancellor, vice chancellor, residents. I'm here this evening as an elected Area 5 trustee of Contra Costa County Board of Education on the governing board. My area has about 200,000 constituents, of which they're located predominantly in Clyde, going east all the way to Bay Point, Pittsburgh, Antioch, Oakley, Brentwood, Knightson, Byron, Discovery Bay. Nonetheless, I'm reminded by my superintendent that we actually represent the entire county. It's about a million individuals, not just my area. I'm requesting tonight, I'm here tonight because I'm bothered by a couple of things. So I'm requesting that this board take formal action as soon as possible to cease, and I'll clarify this just a minute, all activities regarding the start of construction of the new Brentwood Center at Trilogy location, because I've asked my superintendent, Karen Scott, to determine whether the legal opinion as prepared by Bar General Counsel, including the draft letter to then college president John Marquez, including October 23rd, 2014, which I was here at that meeting actually, on the agenda is valid. We have some concern. My constituents have pledged a lot of concerns about this. A lot. There's always interest and concern. As you may recall, I won't get into the graphic of this, but paragraph 2, in page 2, paragraph 2 in that letter, basically it states a couple things. One, there appears to be a potential conflict of interest and with not only California law as well as perhaps federal law. So we definitely always want to do the right thing. I teach, we advocate our students at the state level and at the district level to let's do the right thing. So in my position, I'm asking this. I'm asking the board tonight because my constituents will be mostly affected by this if you were to go forward. And particularly there are approximately 100,000 individuals who reside in or near the proposed area. In the cities of Antioch, Brentwood, Oakley, and such, those individuals have expressed a very, very, very serious concern about this issue. And all these residents currently clearly have said, and they have to say with the resounding consensus that they would like an input, some type of say-so in this mechanism. I know that's what this board is about. It's about transparency, it's about inclusion, and probably more than anything, it's about engaging the community, engaging individuals. And the letter recently, it was submitted on November 25th by our Supervisor Pifo. I concur with her reasoning for many reasons, but more importantly, I know this board to some extent, and I know this board, like most public bodies, want to do the right thing. And I think the right thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, would be that this board would continue its practice, of course, of transparency, inclusion, and community engagement. But the right thing would be to perhaps conduct a series of public hearings, perhaps one in Antioch, one in Oakley, maybe one in Brentwood. And then as a result, what would happen is this would allow the voters themselves of those districts to decide where the new Brentwood Center will be located and provide additional funding if necessary. It's a site selected. It's not the current Trilogy location. In the words of one of the Harvard graduates, Henry David Thoreau, if any man who fails to heed the voice of the people, in general, he constitutes a majority of one. So I ask you again tonight to consider very seriously conduct a series of public hearings in Antioch, Oakley, and Brentwood that would allow some engagement and transparency and inclusion. I'll close with the story. I have a few more minutes.
No, you got to wrap it up here pretty quick.
Okay, good. All right, good. I'll close with this. One of my colleagues out of Washington once said, the difference between outreach and inclusion is Vicki would invite me over home for a piece of pie. It would be a nice outreach gesture. However, John said, Mr. President called me and said, Jeff, I'd like you to come over and perhaps you can go to the store with me. We can buy and we can bake a pie together and then we can share it. To me, that's really inclusive versus outreach. So thank you very much, and I hope you can consider my recommendations.
Thank you, sir.
You know, the Brown Act really restricts what we can do here, but one thing that the Brown Act does allow is us to direct staff to place something on the agenda. There's a lot here
later on in the agenda. We have a spot on the agenda for that.
Well, I'm aware of that. But what I wanted to say is that I believe that we should address specifically paragraph 3, which are the general counsel arguments that the California government code and a federal regulation apply. So I would like at this time to move that we ask our staff to place that one paragraph on our next agenda, next
I
regulation.
think you're out of order. Not the next agenda item. I'll have to wait till that comes up in the agenda.
Well, again, if you read the Brown Act, you're allowed to respond by directing staff to put something on an agenda.
You haven't agreed to change the agenda.
Not this agenda,
That's
the next agenda.
Yeah, Mr. President, I just have a point of clarification. Is it my understanding that Director Belle is asking that the measure before us, that the Honorable Mr. Belle brought before us, just be agendized for the future meetings?
No, he's asking you to change the agenda first, and we haven't agreed to change the agenda.
Again,
Next
on the
item
Brown
on the
Act.
agenda is
The Brown Act allows you to
report to constituents.
Before,
Before, there's plenty of place on the agenda that you can ask for future agenda items, and I believe that's President Nedjadi's point. You can't ask for direction and clarification if it's a minor thing. What I want to do is just clarify something very quickly. It's my belief, my understanding, that when we went out for a bond, all of the properties that we were going to do, all of our bond measure items, all the properties were listed on our bond, so that when I went through and I decided to vote for it, I look at the back of my, I know it's really intense, it's that really thick one that comes in the mail, and you can go back and you can read all of the information there. We listed on that the Trilogy / Pioneer site. There were no other sites. So right now, as it stands, no Measure E money could really go towards even purchasing any other
And
property.
I think we're getting beyond
I
that.
think
on that
there's-
But I'm asking for clarification. Is that a clear understanding of
No,
that?
I'm not, that's not what I'm asking. I'm only concerned about paragraph 3. I feel that the board has not sufficiently addressed.
Okay, well, you should
whether
address that when we get to that item on the agenda.
Mr. President, I agree with you that generally, all the training that I've ever had in dealing with the Brown Act and procedures, parliamentary procedures, the board should not respond to every speaker by making decisions at this point. There is an item on the agenda whereby the trustee can request, and by majority vote, if it's acceptable by the rest of the board, to put the item on the agenda. It's just not a one-person deal, and
That's why I made a motion.
That'll move us to the constituency reports. I'd like to start with the District Governance Council, Sylvester Henderson.